So you're having a difference in sex drive with your partner, with your spouse. Congratulations, you're normal. Trust me, I have been here for years and years. My wife and I went through dry spells and just being completely lacking any intimacy at all, basically due to lack of sex drive, but also not understanding the key principles that allowed us to eventually have a smashing and thriving sex life that we currently have. So here are three really important ways that you can address this difference in sex drive in your relationship and actually have a thriving relationship and marriage. Also, if we haven't met yet, my name is Ben Uyama, and for the last 10 years, my wife and I have been married, and we have two children, 6 and 4 years old, and I have been professionally helping men and women go through conflicts and difficulties in marriage, similar to what we've been, and helping them see the other side. I've been doing this professionally through my work, and this is what I do. So welcome if you want to check around the channel and look at other stuff that helps you have a thriving marriage and stop surviving and going through all the difficulties and struggles that I know you're probably going through. I've been there, trust me. Then feel free to check around the channel, all right? So the first thing that you can do that will probably help a lot is actually addressing the timing of your sexual relationships. Timing is everything, guys. Timing is huge, especially when it comes to sex. It is getting increasingly more and more difficult in today's society to have the right timing with sex because of work, because of responsibilities, obligations, kids, whatever you may be wrapped up in your life. It is so difficult to find the time nowadays. Like I said before, my wife and I went literally years actually without being sexual with each other, even though we were living in the same house and living on the same bed. It was extremely hard, trust me, very, very difficult, a lot of fighting, a lot of arguing. But what I didn't realize that I was doing wrong the whole time, and as soon as I started changing it, was that I was getting my timing totally wrong. I wasn't realizing that my wife is really a morning person. She likes to go to bed early, and I like to be up really late making videos like this. It's like 1 a.m. right now. So what was difficult for us is getting the timing right. And every time I approached her at night when we want to have sex, I wanted to have sex, it was always, I'm too tired, and she wouldn't able to enjoy it at all. And what I changed was like, holy crap, like, why don't I just wake up in the morning? Why don't I stop being selfish little me and just wake up early? Like, she wakes up at 5 a.m., even before the kids wake up. And so I started doing that. I woke up early just to have sneaking a little time with my wife in the morning. And I know that's strange, and it's something I never would have thought of, is like doing it in the morning instead of at night. But I started doing that, and that helped us get the snowball going and actually reviving our sexual relationship. It's just getting the timing. The other element of timing regarding to women is that women have hormonal differences throughout the month, throughout their menstrual cycle. There's literally hormone imbalances, and biochemically speaking, women are different from one point of the month to another point of the month. There are times where they just are more interested in having sex, and there are times where they're literally bleeding out of the vagina and they're not interested at all. So it's understandable that during those times, not even when they're specifically on their period, but there are just times of the month that are just less interested in having sex. So it's important to understand that and try to time it accordingly. So what I had to do is actually research. I actually Wikipedia'd about periods and menstrual cycles. And of course, like, I didn't think I'd ever need to. I understand everything, but I was like blown away about women are literally chemically, hormonally different and changing. And it's crazy how much their body is changing. So when I realized that, I just, it made it a lot easier for me to understand. And also considering that my wife had children, we have 2 kids, and it also affected her hormones in that sense. So getting the support that we needed, from our doctor, and also the timing just really helped us a lot. Speaking of hormones, you could go to the doctor and do a hormonal test to see if your spouse is hormonally balanced, or if there's some kind of imbalance going on. It's helpful to do. And I've heard of women who have done that and taken some kind of medications or something to help them, or take some supplements to help boost their sex drive, and couples are happy with that. So if that's for you, then I'd encourage you to check out your doctor. The second important tip for managing your sex drive is just spending more time together. I mean, this is kind of an understatement. I mean, if you can't find time to just be a couple, to just be in love, to just spend time that is not sexual, just laughing together, watching a movie together, holding hands, taking a walk. If you can't find time to do that, then it's more than likely that you're going to suffer for a long time, because it really does take those small romantic touches and acts of affection towards each other throughout the day that really gets your juices flowing and just feel more intimate. Especially for women, they're more like a slow cooker in terms of their ability to be aroused. It's like, if you probably know from experience, they're like slow cookers where you just it takes a long time for them to experience arousal, whereas men are like a high-powered microwave, where just anytime, generally speaking, we're ready to go. But women need that time. So I really encourage you to prioritize spending time, quality time with your spouse throughout the day. And if you're in a situation where work and obligations and family is just too much and you just can't spend any time together, I would honestly reevaluate your priorities and where you spend your time. Maybe it's not as healthy, the work situation you're in, or the school situation you're in, or how you're taking care of your kids. It might be better to change things up so that you have more quality time to spend together. After all, what's more important, guys? Like, honestly, when I was working in New York City, we were living in New Jersey, I was commuting every day by bike, by the way, and it was just miserable. I was miserable because I was working every day, commuting to work to New York City, and get home. I'm exhausted. My wife is exhausted because she's watching both of our kids all day. She's a stay-at-home mom, by the way. And so after I worked in New York for 4 years, you know what I decided to do? I said, I'm leaving, I'm out, I'm going to move to North Carolina. And I told my boss and the company I'm moving to North Carolina, and that was it. We just decided. And guess what? They kept me on to work remotely for the same organization. So be brave and realize that your situation can't be manageable there. And so now in North Carolina, I work from home, by the way. So I'm able to spend a lot of more quality time, almost too much time with my wife now. So we're at home together all the time with our kids. We can balance our lives more. We have my grandparents nearby here in North Carolina, where if we want to drop the kids off, that's perfectly fine, or they come over and watch the kids. So we've created a lifestyle. We've designed our life so that we can spend more time together, so that we can be more intimate. And that's really what happened, is we moved to North Carolina and our sex life just skyrocketed. I mean, literally from going years at a time, like long times with basically no sex, to basically now it's a very frequent occasion. I don't want to count. It's more of the quality of our sex life has really skyrocketed since we moved to North Carolina. Just made more space to spend time with each other. So the third tip I have for you to manage your difference in sex drive is, it's very important to have understanding, compassion, and empathy for each other. And I know this is the cheesiest thing I could have possibly said in this video, but hear me out, all right? Empathy goes a long way for women, especially, both ways, but generally speaking, empathy is like candy for women. Empathy is like air. It's like oxygen. Women thrive on compassion and empathy. When you can get to a place where your wife is just like, I'm not interested, honey, in sex, and you just like, okay, I get it. I understand. Can we reschedule, or can we do something? Instead of reacting with, oh, I feel so rejected. I'm so frustrated. I am angry. Instead of going there immediately, if we can just respond with understanding and compassion and understanding that she's tired or she's going through something, and just listening, things will change. I guarantee, I promise. Empathy is air for women, it is oxygen. And it's not just women, but people in general. But especially because I'm generally talking to guys, if you can have a heart and compassion and empathy for your wife and understand why she's experiencing this, you will instantly be able to calm down and not react negatively. And your wife will not react negatively to your negative reactions. What happened with us all the time is every time my wife would reject me, I would instantly go to frustration and anger, and again and again, I keep getting rejected, and it's so frustrating and angry, and I just leave the room or whatever, I'll go watch porn or masturbate, whatever. And it's like, if you go through that kind of experience constantly all the time, it just creates negative energy all the time, and your spouse reacts to your negative energy. So once I had empathy, once I just talked to somebody, I talked to a mentor of mine, a kind of a father figure in my life, and I said, God, I'm struggling with this and I don't know what to do. And as soon as I had the humility to ask and get help and support, then I just became more calm and relaxed. And I realized, like, wow, my wife is actually going through something serious and we need to address this. And I need help and I can change this on my own. And that's what I did. So as soon as I had that kind of compassionate heart towards my wife, things really started to change. And I just calmed down a lot and realized that I just have to have a little bit of faith and a little of confidence. And I always say that when we went through this difficulty in our lives, I mean, literally a few years of not having sex, that's something that almost all couples will give up on very quickly. Almost all couples I know would, and have worked with in my life, give up. Even very quickly give up because it's just too hard. But my wife and I never even considered divorce. We never even crossed my mind ever. I promise you, it never crossed my mind because we're both committed to the idea of growth. We're both committed to, if I can grow as a man and my wife can grow as a woman through this experience, then that's a home run. That is what this is all about. That is what this life is all about. If I can expand my capacity to love my spouse, even through all these difficulties, or even through all the challenges, that is a winning game. And you will see the other side. I promise. It just takes time. So I actually have a fourth bonus point for you guys, a fourth bonus tip that I just thought about. Before we do that, I just want to invite you to smash the like button on this video. If you found this video helpful at all or inspiring or anything like that, you can give it a like. It really does help the video get spread around and no one will know that you liked it. All right, so it'll be our little secret. Actually, I don't even know who likes the videos. Anyways, so the last tip I want to offer you guys is stop dang comparing with people. It is infinitely harder to manage your dry spell or your difference in sex drive if you're constantly comparing with other couples that you see in Hollywood or on Instagram, or your close friends that are having smashing sex lives and thriving sex lives, or the couple down the road who has 8 kids or anything like that. I know I've been there. I can't tell you how sad it is and frustrating when all my friends, because I work in the area of family therapy and ministry and supporting couples going through really difficult stuff. It's really hard when my friends are talking about their great sex lives and how all the different things they're trying out in the bedroom. It's just so hurtful to hear that kind of stuff. So I understand this completely. But what I was doing wrong is I was always comparing my sex life with theirs. I was always comparing my situation right now with their situation right now at the time. And that doesn't work because every relationship is different. Every relationship is infinitely valuable and unique in its own way. And it doesn't work to compare apples with oranges at all. So what I had to do is realize that I'm destroying this relationship because I'm constantly comparing it to some standard of I have to have sex this many times a week because that's the national standard or the national average in America or whatever in my demographic. And if I'm not meeting the standard, then we're doing something wrong. But as soon as I turn that off, stop comparing. It's all garbage. Don't compare. And realize that my couple is in a difficult situation right now. We will get through it. And that's the point. If you can have faith and belief, we'll get through this, then I promise you it'll happen. Because if you can believe that you'll get through it, you will instantly go from this is a terrible situation and we're just going to go downhill from here to, okay, this is a situation we're going through. And if I can grow from this experience, if every day I can level up my capacity to love my wife and vice versa, and to be loved and have this kind of relationship and talk about this kind of stuff instead of fighting about it, have conversations about our difference in sex drive, have conversations, which is the obvious tip that people give in the therapy guru space. Have conversations. No, just act and just make it part of your life to spend more quality time together, to get your timing right. That's the practical one. And also just understand and have compassion for each other and stop comparing. And if you follow these tips, it'll at least get you further along the road. I promise, I guarantee you will get somewhere if you just follow this advice. But also feel free to check out the other videos on this channel where I talk about how to just make your surviving marriage a thriving relationship like my wife and I and so many others have done. All right. So if that's you, it's good to hear and have you here. Thanks for watching. Take care.